Welcome to the Explainer. So today, we're basically strapping in for a mental boot camp. We're going to break down a really fascinating analysis that tackles, honestly, one of the absolutely most critical skills any human being can develop: mental toughness. And look, this isn't about, just positive thinking or brushing things off with some toxic positivity. No way. It's a raw, structured look at how to actually forge a mind that simply does not quit. If you've ever felt like life's pressures are just literally pushing you right past your breaking point, well, this explainer is exactly what you need. So why do some people stand strong while others completely break down? I mean, have you ever noticed how some people just seem like solid rock, totally unshaken by anything, while others, they kind of fall apart at the slightest inconvenience? Well, it's not luck. It's for sure not magic. It's mental strength. And the harsh reality here is that most people never actually develop it because, well, they spend their entire lives avoiding discomfort. They take the easy road, and then they wonder why life feels so incredibly hard. But here's the good news. Mental strength is something you can actively build just by stepping out of your comfort zone. Okay, let's dive into the step-by-step roadmap. Today, we're rewiring our mindset, looking at the ultimate real-world example in David Goggins, dropping some toxic habits, building daily systems for strength, controlling our emotions, and finally, choosing discipline over motivation. Starting with Section 1, Mindset and Changing Your Perspective. This is the big paradigm shift that changes absolutely everything. You see, life is never going to be easy, right? And the people who are mentally strong, they didn't get that way by just sitting comfortably. The fundamental shift we need to adopt is exactly this. Every challenge, every setback, and every single failure is not an obstacle. It is a vital part of your training. Think about your brain exactly like a physical muscle. If you never challenge a muscle, it just stays weak. If you constantly choose the easy route, your mind becomes fragile. And the moment a real hardship hits, you break. You have to stop seeing struggle as something that breaks you and start seeing it as the very thing that builds you. That is when your mindset becomes completely indestructible. Which brings us to Section 2, the real-life example of David Goggins. He is the ultimate proof of concept here. And this brilliantly illustrates the sheer scale of what is actually possible. Think about this trajectory for a second. Goggins started out as a depressed, overweight guy working in pest control. But one day he watched a documentary on the Navy SEALs, and man, it just sparked a fire. To even qualify for the training, he had to lose over 100 pounds in just 3 months. And he actually did it. He went on to become one of the world's most elite endurance athletes, pushing past limits that initially seemed completely, utterly impossible. So how exactly did he do it? Well, by voluntarily subjecting himself to extreme physical discomfort. He started waking up at 4 a.m. He started running every single day. His body was in intense, excruciating pain. Every single day, his mind was literally screaming at him to stop, to go back to bed, to just choose the easy road. But he didn't. He forced himself into the fire daily, just to prove that most of our limits, they exist entirely in our heads. Mental toughness is built when you want to quit, but you don't. It's a simple quote, but wow, it's so profound. The desire to quit was a daily reality for him. Mental toughness isn't the absence of wanting to give up. Not at all. It's feeling that overwhelming, heavy urge to quit and deliberately choosing to take one more step anyway. Moving on to Section 3, quit these 3 habits immediately. Time to pivot from inspiration straight into direct action. If you really want to be mentally strong, there are 3 toxic habits you need to clear out right now. First up, complaining. Complaining fixes absolutely nothing. It just keeps you stuck in this endless negative loop. You either solve the problem or you accept it and move on. Second, seeking constant comfort. Like we've established, growth only happens in discomfort. If you're always comfortable, you're just stagnating. And third, making excuses. Look, excuses only serve the people who never move forward. Drop them today. Section 4, Daily Habits for Strength. Now that we know what to stop doing, let's transition seamlessly into what to start doing every single day. We're talking about proactive systems to actively construct your mental resilience from the ground up. Here are 4 highly actionable steps you can literally start today. 1. Cold showers. Yes, I know they are absolutely miserable, but starting your day with a shock of discomfort trains your brain to handle stress. 2. Exercise. A strong physical body builds a strong, resilient mind. 3. Meditation. And this isn't just about, relaxing. It's about building laser focus. And 4. Do one difficult thing every single day. Purposefully put yourself in a tough spot just to keep that mental muscle engaged. Let's move to section 5. Control your emotions under pressure and see how this builds a foundation. Because all the habits in the world won't help if you lose your head the second a crisis hits. Mentally strong people do not let their emotions control them. They actively control their emotions. Try this literal, real-time technique the next time something triggers you. When it happens, just pause, stop, take a deep breath, and count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just that tiny, small window of time, that creates the space you need between a reactive, heated mistake and a measured, intelligent response. Now, what's really interesting here is to think of your emotions exactly like waves in the ocean. They swell, they crash, and then they recede. They just come and go. If you make a permanent decision based on a temporary wave of anger or fear, you're gonna drown. So acknowledge the wave, definitely let it pass, but never ever let it steer the ship of your decisions. Section 6. Building an unshakable attitude. Let's look at how to handle life's inevitable failures. Because true failure only happens when you completely give up. There is a really stark contrast in how we experience life. 10% is what actually happens to you, and a massive 90% is how you react to it. We waste so much energy stressing over that unpredictable 10%. The economy, what other people say, sudden accidents, you literally can't control that. But you have absolute 100% control over the 90%, your reaction. So treat every problem as a challenge. Take control of your 90%. Pain will come, but suffering is optional. I love this because pain is a guaranteed biological response to life's hurdles. It's going to happen. But suffering is just the story you tell yourself about that pain. It's playing the victim. When failure hits, you have to consciously look in the mirror and tell yourself, I will not break. I will not lose. I am going to get through this. So the crucial point is understanding the fundamental difference between motivation and discipline. Motivation is just a feeling. It's temporary. It's fleeting. It comes and goes depending on, I don't know, if you slept well or had a really good cup of coffee. Discipline, on the other hand, that is consistent. It's systematic. Discipline is what gets you out of bed at 4 a.m. for a run when it's pouring rain and you have absolutely zero motivation. To be truly unbreakable, you simply cannot rely on motivation. You have to build a system. Focus intensely on those small daily habits we discussed, the miserable cold showers, the exercise, the moments of pause. There's no magic trick here, guys. The real magic is just consistency. It's doing the unglamorous hard work day in and day out, regardless of how you happen to feel. Which brings us to the end of our explainer and leaves us with one final, unavoidable question. The choice is entirely yours. You can close this explainer right now, slip right back into your cozy comfort zone, and return to your old habits. Or you can take immediate control. You can start the cold showers, stop the excuses, and begin forging a totally new, mentally unbreakable future. The future is waiting. What will you choose today?